What kind of in-app events are worth running? That's a question that we often get at AppTweak, and there's no obvious answer that can satisfy everyone. But one way that you can try and ideate on what kind of in-app event to incorporate in your game is to spy on your competitors. Imagine I am working on Jurassic Dinosaur and I'm considering running promotional content for the first time. One thing I can do is look at a competitor like Jurassic World and try and see what kind of promotional content have they run throughout the month of February. At this point, this can stir ideas, but this doesn't necessarily tell me which ones were most efficient. So one thing I can do next is heading over to the analytics section, look, for instance, at revenue estimates for my competitor and see if any increase in revenue estimates correlates specifically with the start of an in-app event or a promotional content. Here, one that can catch my eye is the event that started on February 14. A new season has arrived. If I look specifically at that event in practice, there is a clear increase on the first day, some additional increases later on, but nothing where I can be absolutely serious that's the type of event I want to copy. That's when we can use incrementality to try and understand a bit further if an in-app event, if a promotional content is having special value. The way to do that is to head to incrementality inside Reporting Studio and start a new experiment here on our revenue estimates in the United States for our target game, our competitor, Jurassic World. In here, we will use Google Play example. And here, looking at data, so this is going to be purely for visualization. I can visualize again what were the revenue estimates for the game according to AppTweak in February, and then specify I am interested in seeing the impact of the promotional content new season, which I can see here started on February 14 and ended on March 14th. So a little trick I will share is that usually the way I look at promotional content in an app event is that I first look at the first day of the event itself as a standalone, and then I consider looking at the next 30 days or 28 days available. Here, this would actually push us all the way until today to try and see if there is an increase in revenue on the day itself, but also later on during the event. Here, I just have to run my experiment. As you can see, I've pre-run it. I wasn't able to run it all the way until today, but what I can see from my test is that on the very first day of my promotional content, there was a very clear increase in the revenue that went far higher to what the model was able to predict. Specifically, our revenue estimate was more than double what was expected by AppTweak's model. And this with a statistical measurement for the p-value that is below 0.01, meaning the experiment is very significant. So here I can have a very clear signal that this type of in-app event or promotional content, since we're on Google Play, is likely to have an impact on revenue for my competitor. We also see that in general, the model says the rest of the event also led to higher revenue estimates than what we would have otherwise predicted, suggesting that the event itself is generally driving revenue, assuming no other factors are taking place at the same time, leading me to recommend to my team to have the same type of promotional content or in-app events running if that fits our gameplay.